All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBA and the vacant WBO Junior Lightweight Championship of the world. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Foxwoods Resort Casino, it's showtime! Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue trunks with silver trim, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada by way of Sacramento, California. He weighed in at the junior lightweight limit of 130 pounds even. His record stands at 37 wins, 2 losses with 31 big wins coming by way of knockout. Currently ranked number 3 in the world by the WBO. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former IBF junior lightweight champion of the world, introducing Diego Chico Corrales. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with blue trim, fighting out of Miami, Florida by way of Guantanamo, Cuba. He weighed in the same as his opponent, 130 pounds even. His outstanding record includes 31 wins, 1 defeat, 19 wins coming by way of knockout. As the defending IBA 130-pound champion, he is ranked the #1 WBO junior lightweight world contender. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBA super featherweight champion of the world, introducing Joel El Cepillo Casamayor. Once again, Steve Smoger is our referee in charge. 12 rounds of boxing schedule.
Gentlemen, you're giving your instructions both in Spanish and English. Obey my commands, respect the bell, and above all, protect yourself at all times. Comprende todo. Your trunks are fine where they are. Touch gloves, touch. Gracias, thank you. You okay?
Well, the way Joel Casamayor and Buddy McGirt sound, Casamayor will look to take the sweet science to a new level in this rematch. If that happens, perhaps the only hope for Diego Corrales would be for Casamayor to lose his focus and step in to fight. Steve Smoger, the third man of the ring, and here we go, Al.
You know, in a certain way, though, there's mixed messages here because Casamayor was so bold in the ring before this fight, and we've heard he and a number of his people in his camp suggesting he's going to win by knockout in the 4th or 5th round. So these mixed messages create a very interesting scenario. But right now, of course, he is boxing, as he did throughout most of their first match.
Corrales' power combined with a leaky defense, a formula for fireworks. Yes, he does have problems with slick mover types like Casamayor, but he has that very exciting ability to bail himself out with one explosive punch. Casamayor in the white, Corrales in the blue. For the WBO 130-pound championship scheduled for 12. If the first fight was that good with no title at stake, imagine the possibilities here.
Corrales is so far not cutting off the ring too effectively, but he's showing a commitment to get that left hook in. And for the first time, Casamayor throws the left and it lands.
And that left was very successful in the first fight. There's another one that got through to the chin of Corrales. It was Corrales who got off to the fast start in the first fight. He rocked Casamayor, and then Corrales sustaining a cut over his left eye and a clash of heads, which slowed him down. It looks like it's Casamayor, normally not a fast starter and vulnerable early historically, getting off to the fast start here.
Those 2 straight lefts were probably the best punches of the round. But here's the thing for Corrales right now. He's almost finding the range for that left hook. He is very, very close to doing it.
And he dropped Casamayor with that left in round 4 of the first fight, a candidate for round of the year.
The problem with Corrales is the same as in the first fight, though. He's not stopping Casamayor's movement when Casamayor moves to his right, and so he's not putting himself in position to land that hook as effectively as he might.
Under a minute remaining in round one. There's a good right by Corrales, right on the nose. Casamayor walking right into it. Casamayor said the times he got tagged by Corrales in the first fight was when he scored. He hurt Corrales and then got careless. So he must guard against that here.
Very close first round, though, because Corrales has been the aggressor, and while there have been two showy punches by Casamayor, Corrales has landed several himself, and he's thrown many more punches.
Corrales trying to back Casamayor into the corner as we head for the bell in the opening round.
No. Nothing, okay? Now, you're not going to. But I still want you to keep that chin tucked, okay? Now remember, you've got to cut him off a little bit harder on that side, right? Okay, that's number one. Number two, you're using the jab good. Feint it, use it, feint it, use it. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Now let's look for a little body with that right hand every so often, surprise him. If you're going to sneak that right hand in the body, go high with the jab right there and get out, okay? I want you to cut him off hard on this side and move him into that left hook.
Okay.
We're looking to double up on that left hook. He's getting under it. Get his arm out.
In the first round, Casamayor was able to do what he did many times in the first fight, and that is land the straight left hand. And there was the right hand low again by Corrales, and some more left hands got in. So that's a recurring theme and one that Corrales would like to stop.
Sage advice from Corrales' new trainer, Casamayor's old trainer, Joe Goosen, telling Chico Corrales to double up on the left hook and use the right more. The left hook very effective against southpaws for a conventional fighter, but of course the right hand also a very effective punch for a right-hander against a lefty.
The missing component right now for Corrales is that left to the body. They want a right to the body, but this is going to be a very difficult fight to win if he doesn't rip those hooks. That's what you need to do. You rip the hook downstairs, then it will open up the hook to the head. And Casamayor, there is in the dictionary next to slick left-hander is his picture. So if you're going to beat a lefty, you have to fight the perfect fight against a lefty against him. He knows what to do.
Good jab by Casamayor. These two 130-pounders are using all of this 20-foot square ring.
Don't punch. No, no. Oh, man. Behind the head. Watch behind the head. Okay.
Well, early warnings from the personable Steve Smoger about Casamayor's holding behind the head, which is something he had a point deducted for in the first fight after he had knocked Corrales down.
And by the way, Steve Smoger, as good a referee as you will ever see in a boxing room, anywhere, anytime. He's spectacular. So no one should have complaints about his refereeing in this fight.
They are in very capable hands.
Push him off. That's it.
Corrales with aggression. And back comes Casamayor with a left hand.
Don't punch.
Corrales' defense on the inside is lacking as it was from time to time in the first fight. When he attacks, he's just forgetting defense.
Corrales said he wasn't so much impressed with the power of Casamayor in the first fight as Casamayor gets off balance momentarily. A right hand now by Corrales. It was the speed of Casamayor's punches he was impressed with.
That was a good left hook by Corrales. It didn't land perfectly, but it got there.
It certainly got Casamayor's attention. And it's got to give confidence to Sacramento native Diego Corrales.
Now there was a counter right hand by Corrales. A very big moment in this fight over a left by Casamayor. He hasn't done that in any of the rounds so far. We've seen these men in against each other. That could be a very important punch if he keeps doing it.
Corrales digging into the chest. You see the size difference, so obvious. Corrales so tall at 5'10" and a half.
Don't punch. Don't
Here's what, let me tell you what Joe Goossen's added for this fight, or at least what he's doing that he didn't. That's the counter straight right hand. A very important weapon for Corrales.
They're trying to counter your jab with the hook. Okay, now you got to start putting little more jabs together now. Okay, relax, baby, relax. Okay, when you get close to him, you got to start digging the body a little more. Don't look for the one punch. Okay, don't look for the one punch. Take your time. You're trying too hard. Okay, don't try so hard. Relax. Okay?
Mantén las manos arriba y mueve la cabeza.
You gotta keep this hand up because they're trying to throw the hook. They're gonna throw a double hook over there.
Ellos van a tratar de tirar un doble gancho, un doble swing,
okay? So sometimes feint them, but keep it up.
Corrales was able to counterpunch at moments in this round. Now there, you see that? That's a very important weapon for Corrales over the left hand of Casamayor. If he can continue to do that in this fight, he will make Casamayor very leery of throwing that left hand.
Buddy McGirt reminding Joel Casamayor not to slip into bad habits, things that got him into some trouble in the first fight. Just underway, round 3, scheduled for 12 for the WBO 130-pound championship.
Casamayor now pushing forward a little bit more.
Nearly a low blow by Casamayor. Right on the belt. Steve Smoker keeping a close eye on the potential roughhouse tactics of Casamayor.
You know, it's funny, Buddy McGirt said in the corner, beware, they're going to throw that double left hook to the body and the head, which of course I think is what they should be doing. But Corrales hasn't shown the inclination to do that very much. He's mostly throwing hooks to the head against Casamayor, and some are getting in there.
And you heard Joe Goossen urging Corrales to double up.
Combination punching from Corrales. He's much sharper in this fight. His punching is crisper. It is more accurate. There's a difference.
He sparred with Shambe Mitchell, another southpaw, showed no deleterious effects as far as the mouth was concerned. Everything intact.
You know, Casamayor is able to move to his right, which is where he wants to be. But even despite that, Corrales is getting punches even when he's not in good position to punch.
Nice flurry by Corrales, using both fists.
So far in this fight, in the first fight, Casamayor's hand speed was better. In this fight, Corrales's has been, by and large, a little bit better. Of course, that can change.
Casamayor mostly on the retreat since this fight began. Less than a minute, round 3. It has been Corrales, the one coming forward.
This was the Casamayor game plan that we expected, really. He was going to box, use the ring, but he has not been able to counterpunch effectively from that posture. And Corrales has been very busy, much busier than he was in the first fight, and much more precise.
Now going with the jab, looking to set up the power punch, the right. But he has power in both hands, as you know, if you follow his career. Corrales measuring Casamayor out.
He's forcing Casamayor to attack and make himself vulnerable right now.
And the bell to end round 3.
Okay, now you got to start hitting that right hand. You got to start landing it. Don't pull away. Keep it right here. I want you to shoot that one, okay?
Okay.
Good, good. Hey, you got to keep the pressure on, smart pressure. I need that rhythm. If he comes at you, you got to be able to step back and fire. Okay? Look for that right uppercut every so often, too. You got to keep your chin tucked if you're going to do it.
Okay.
You cannot pop up. Look for it, because he's trying to get out, down over here, down over there. Look for the uppercuts.
Okay.
Now, the jab is the key here, baby. I want you to keep working it. Stay, you see when you step over hard to his left, it's forcing him back that way.
Right.
You're using your jab, you've got to use that right hand, too.
Okay.
Once you use that right hand, you're getting under. Okay. You understand?
Yes.
All right, they're worried over there right now. You won the last 3. Okay, you won every round.
Nigga, relax. Relax. Take your time. Don't worry about it. You're doing beautiful. Okay? Okay, baby. They're going to try the uppercuts on the inside. Okay? Watch the uppercuts. Okay, baby? Give more feints and double jabs to the chest.
Al, you agree with Joe Goossen's assessment?
Yeah, one of the rounds was very close, but I think Corrales may have won every round in terms of his aggression, and he's a little busier. Round one was in question, but I would agree he probably did win all the rounds so far.
Well, you told Corrales the jab is the key, and also you got to land that right hand. There's nobody who knows Casamayor better than Joe Goossen. And he knows the 2 or 3 things that cause Corrales problems. He says they're going to get around it. We shall see.
You know,
so far, so good.
I am always leery of a right-handed fighter that pins his hopes against a lefty, mostly on his jab. Can I tell you, though, in this fight, it's the right strategy. And the jab of Corrales has definitely created lots of problems for Joel Casamayor, even when it doesn't land.
That was a key for Corrales coming into this fight. He said he would really use the jab often, and it's paying off like just there. Beautiful shotgun jab by Corrales.
Corrales has to worry. Their heads are coming very close, and let's be honest, we know that Casamayor is an expert on the inside with that head.
There's a nice right uppercut on the jaw by Corrales.
It's what Goossen was calling for after Casamayor through the left. The key in this fight is every time Casamayor throws a left hand, even if he doesn't always land, Corrales has some kind of answer. That is very different than the first fight.
Corrales continues to follow Casamayor around in stalking fashion. Corrales looking the more impressive of the two in the early going. Low blow by Casamayor, but it was blocked.
In the first fight, Casamayor was able to control rounds at long range while moving backwards. Not so in this one.
You can see Corrales has picked up a few tricks here that's helped him so far. Using that jab. Not throwing the right, though, holding back after the jab. Lead right hand by Corrales and a countering left by Casamayor. Both landed.
Again, a round controlled by Corrales with his jab and more combination punching.
And doing a nice job cutting off the ring is Corrales. Corrales in the blue, Casamayor in the white. For the vacant WBO 130-pound title, vacated by Ocelino Freitas.
You see when he's standing over there, it's only when you line up in the middle here he's able to come down there a little bit. Now look, when you get over here on this side and you're using that jab, look, you can ping, bam, right there, that little sweep right hand. He's looking for that, he's going to slip it. Right. Look to use that little right hook, but you got to do it off the jab. You got to blind him a little bit. Step in with that right hand when you're cutting him off on this side, you understand? The jab is the key right now. Keep the pressure on. What is this, 5? It's only 5, baby. He's got a long way to go, do you hear me? You hear what I'm saying? He's got a long way to go, not you. You got to make an effort to sneak some body shots in, okay? And when you do, you got to roll out of them. You understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's going your way. Do you feel it's going your way, baby? Yes, sir. You know it is. Yes, sir. It's a matter of time. Just keep working. Just keep working. We do not back up. Let's go, Joe. Okay?
Combination teacher, cheerleader, Joe Goossen. I'll tell you what, Al, by this time in their first fight back in October, both fighters had already touched the canvas.
The danger in what Joe told him in the corner, though it's working, is if you throw that right hand downstairs to the body, even after a jab, you can be hit with a counter left. That's how much confidence they have in what Corrales is doing. They're willing to risk that, thinking that that jab will blind him, as Joe said, and he won't get countered, Corrales, when he throws the right to the body. We'll see.
Corrales continues to apply pressure. Using the jab.
would bet you $1 million that with the few number of left hooks Corrales has thrown in these first rounds, though he's thrown some good ones, that he would not have been able to control his fight this way. And he has done it with the jab, with the right hand to the body, the right uppercut, and the counter right to the head.
Sort of taking Casamayor out of his precious rhythm. There's a good left hand in that exchange by Casamayor.
Good counter punch by Casamayor. He needs a lot more of that because he's going to have to counter because Corrales keeps coming forward.
But overall, Casamayor definitely not as effective overall as he was to this point in the first fight.
Nice left hook landing there by Corrales. You know, it's not as if everything he's throwing is getting there. Lots of those punches are missing. Some are being blocked. But he's throwing so many more than Casamayor that you have to feel like he's being more effective in these rounds. And I would say that those weeks spent working with Sean Bay Mitchell had to be very beneficial to Corrales. He said, you know, when you spar with a guy like that, he makes you keep your A game all the way through. Good hook and a good left by Casamayor. Great exchange by these men.
Casamayor's best offering of the night. Things beginning to really heat up now in round 5.
You know, Casamayor took a very good hook at the end of that exchange by Corrales and didn't flinch.
Both guys with tremendous resolve. You certainly saw that at the end of the 6th round in the first fight, particularly by Corrales. Corrales having Casamayor in trouble at the end of the round, and that's what made it that much more agonizing to stop it.
1 moment ago, Corrales threw the left hand and was waiting for Casamayor to counter with the left. He literally ducked before he even started throwing the left, and he ducked Casamayor's left. He's actually timing when Casamayor is throwing that left hand.
Casamayor firing just after the bell, but no connection.
Big Donnie.
More head movement.
Más movimiento de cabeza.
Okay. Stay low and you gotta stop.
Mantente bajito cuando empieza a hacer lo que camine para atrás.
Stay to the body.
Mantente el cuerpo.
Okay. Don't get in the slugfest.
No debe nunca pelear con él todavía.
Okay. Very good.
Sigue trabajando bien.
Okay. We gotta pick it up a little bit more this round. Just a little bit more.
Tiene que poner un poquito más presión, un poquito más,
Okay. Okay. That body shot when you land that body shot.
Diego Corrales has thrown more combinations in this bout than he did in the first one. There's the good counter left hand. You see, he's continuing to throw, even when those combinations are missing, keeping Casamayor off balance. This is the best hand speed we've seen from Corrales in a long, long time. There's the hook. Slapped a little bit with those 2 hooks. Otherwise, they would have done more damage, but they landed. Good indication of how Corrales is controlling this fight.
Well, this was the final round of the first fight. Round 6, scheduled for 12. Buddy McGirt telling Casamayor through an interpreter in the corner, pick it up this round. We'll see what happens.
Well, here's the danger for Casamayor. Let's just assume that the judges are agreeing with us that most of these rounds, I have all of them for Corrales, are going Corrales' way. It means Joe Casamayor has to come out of the game plan they created for him, and he's going to have to be more aggressive, and we know that creates issues against Corrales for him. But he's doing it. Let's see how it plays out.
So far, the left hand of Casamayor, which was so damaging to Corrales in the first fight, has not been a factor here in the rematch.
There's that straight left that came in when Corrales got on the inside and left himself exposed.
Corrales doubling up on the jab, holding off with the right, but keeping Casamayor at bay.
And there he countered with the jab. There's only 1 inch difference in reach. There's a huge height advantage, of course, for Corrales. But you would look and think the reach was a bigger advantage for Corrales.
Nice left hook to the head by Corrales in that sequence. Casamayor really on his bike now.
Again, the counter left hook from Corrales. This is a very, very sharp performance by him so far.
Maybe it's the bike he received from Fidel Castro when he won the gold medal in '92 for Cuba and promptly traded it in for a pig so he could feed his family. Under 1:20 left, round 6. Good footwork, followed by A good left hand to the belly by Casamayor.
Don't punch, Step. Watch your heads coming in, guys. Cabeza.
No knockdowns, no cuts. It's been a relatively clean fight. Casamayor in the white, Corrales in the blue.
Casamayor with a very good right jab. You know, he wants to throw that punch more, but Corrales has countered it so well with the left hook that he's loath to initiate the action with that punch.
Little mouse maybe developing under the right eye of Casamayor.
There's the defense of Corrales. That's the big difference.
You recall Casamayor had a big well on his forehead in the first fight on the clash of heads. Now Casamayor taunting.
That's desperation by Casamayor. That shows you he is befuddled. Right now he does not know what to do.
And resorting to those tactics.
This is what's doing well for you is when you keep forcing them over your left. Okay? Now, you have to maintain rhythm, baby. I know you're walking them down, but maintain a little bit always, a little bit of herky-jerky, okay? Now, here's where I want you to start picking the jab up.
We gotta go get this title.
Tenemos que buscar el título ahora, ¿ok?
Let's stay low. Let's stop backing them up.
Mantente bajo y sigue por la presión ya.
You gotta stop backing them up now.
Tienes que empezar por no caminar.
Diego Corrales has shown very good defense. He was ducking that straight left hand before Casamayor threw it. That's different than the first fight, and then landing the straight right hand and the counter left hooks. It's been a classic boxer-puncher performance by Diego Corrales.
And now we begin to sense the urgency by Buddy McGirt. In the corner between rounds 6 and 7. It's the halfway point on the judges' cards. In the first fight, Casamayor was ahead by 4, 4, and 2 points. Tonight, he could be behind by that many. What do you have it at?
I have scored every single round for Diego Corrales. The first round was in question. Nice exchange by both fighters. I believe Corrales is ahead by 6 points in this fight.
So Al Bernstein with Corrales ahead by a substantial margin here in the rematch.
And even if the judges have it less, which they very well might, you have to believe Corrales is ahead in this match.
Round 7 scheduled for 12.
And here's the problem. Buddy McGirt is the one that's forced to change strategy. He has to tell his fighters, get low and go in. That is fraught with danger in this fight, that strategy. But what choice does he have? They believe he's far behind as well.
There's the left hand that pushes Corrales back a bit. Got to do that more often to get back into this one.
Stay up, Yoel.
Now we bring up the question once again. You wonder, does a trainer or how much does a trainer make a difference?
Well, there's two things that have happened in this fight. Clearly, Corrales has added a few weapons. He is throwing the counter right hand after Corrales throws the left. He's using his jab much more than he did in the first fight, and they've created a strategy that involves the jab to keep, oh, there's the hook again. He's throwing it enough, just enough in this fight. So there are weapons in this fight that Corrales didn't have in the last fight. Whether Goossen is completely responsible for them, which he may be, or whether Corrales just picked up on it, we don't know, but you have to give Goossen credit. It has been a superb game plan so far.
Corrales scoring in that flurry. Perhaps not dominating, but controlling the fight. Diego Corrales. Another good left hook upstairs by Corrales. Again, backing Casamayor right into his own corner. And a right hand off the face by Corrales.
When you're 5'10" and you fight like this as a boxer-puncher with the kind of power that Corrales has, and you pay attention to defense, you're very tough to beat in the 130-pound division. Of course, we still have some rounds to go here, and remember, Casamayor did hurt Corrales in the first fight, and there's a left hand that lands, so we don't want to be presumptuous about this, but so far, Corrales has had an answer for everything Casamayor has done, primarily with the great counterpunching.
Yes, so far to this point, Corrales in the rematch has solved the puzzle of Joel Casamayor, and again, Casamayor clowns around with the shimmying of the shoulders as the bell sounds for round 7.
We look back and see Casamayor getting pushed back by Corrales. They're working on the inside. And he's leading with the head is Joel Casamayor, who, of course, has been known to do that. And as this fight goes on, if he gets more desperate, we may see a little bit more of that.
We saw that in the Acelino Freitas fight when he got frustrated with Joel Casamayor on the right and Diego Corrales on the left here. A lot calmer in the Corrales corner.
Very good. Get out of here.
A newer, softer mouthpiece being applied for Diego Corrales after the debacle in the first fight. And here we go into round 8, and things really getting difficult and desperate for Joel Casamayor.
There were some very good exchanges in the last round, and Joel Casamayor landed some good power punches, but took some. And as this fight goes on, unless the judges are just completely different than we see, Casamayor will have to take more chances, and those are the kind of counter punches he'll be hit with.
No knockdowns in the fight. Again, no cuts.
Now, there's a way that Corrales can start to degenerate in this fight, and I'll tell you the way, although there it is. If he stops jabbing, that will be part of the problem for him. And when he stops jabbing in this fight is when Casamayor can make things happen. But he gets back to it every 15 or 20 seconds.
Corrales extremely focused, keeping the jab alive. There it is again. And circling to his left. There's a countering left hand, partially blocked. Offered up by Casamayor.
Maybe, you know, Corrales touching his right eye, thinking maybe he was cut there.
No. Good.
We'll have to take a look at that and see.
He was cut over the left eye in the first round of the first fight. Here come the heads again. Perilously close.
Please watch your head.
Oh, this time maybe Casamayor getting the worst.
No cuts.
All right.
Steve Smoger signing off, saying no cuts. Everybody's okay.
Don't you like when the refs do our commentary for us? It's perfect.
Give him a credit at the end of the show.
This is a very interesting boxing match. There's been enough. There's a counter right by Corrales. There's been action, and there is more than enough strategy to please anybody that enjoys boxing.
And I like the way Corrales is moving to his left core a lot more than in the first fight. Trying to stay away from Casamayor's power and also allowing himself to throw the left hook and to double up to the body into the head.
In that last sequence, Casamayor tried to throw the left hand, but Corrales' right stayed very high and it bounced off his gloves.
A relatively clean fight, despite Corrales' claim that Casamayor tends to fight dirty.
This has been a better round for Casamayor. I don't think I could give it to him, but he has made a few things work in this round. But right now, close doesn't count here or in horseshoes because he needs to win some rounds.
Good straight right hand by Diego Corrales, a countering left by Casamayor, and that's the bell for round 8. Casamayor coming on a little bit.
You're playing a real smart game. Now, if you're going to back up a little bit, you got to always nail them.
Okay.
That means you can't back up without putting a jab on them or a right hand or a hook.
Okay.
Because if you're going to back up, you got to make it look good.
Okay.
I don't want anybody to think the tide's turning here because it ain't.
Okay.
You were boxing nice and you hurt him there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the perception is that I want you to keep the pressure on from this end here. I need
And
you
you
to
know,
keep the
Joe
pressure
Gleason
on.
talked about perception early in the round.
Perfect. How do you feel?
Casamayor threw some pretty good combinations. Some of these punches kind of getting there. But it set the tone for a portion early in the round. But then Casamayor had issues, and much has been made of whether the heads are clashing and who's to blame. There's Casamayor sticking that head in there, and some danger of either man getting cut there. And Steve Smoker right on top of him.
As we enter into round 9, scheduled for 12 for the vacant WBO 130-pound championship. Joe Casamayor, the former WBA champ in the white. Diego Corrales, the former IBF champ in the blue.
Fascinating comment by Goosen in the corner. Don't let them have the perception this is changing. So when you back up, you've got to punch, or they'll think the aggression of Casamayor is working. And Joel did have a better round in the last round. There's a nice combination. Some of those punches landed.
The judges from all over: Julie Letterman from West Nyack, New York, Donald O'Neill from Port Charlotte, Florida, and Steve Weisfeld from Rivervale, New Jersey. There's a good left hand that's scored by Casamayor, and he dances around to celebrate just a bit. Let's see if he can follow it up. There's a right hand, a right hook by Casamayor. There's a left hand, got in. Another left hand to the neck by Casamayor, who's all of a sudden getting some really clean shots in. It's round 9, a minute 50 and counting. Let's see if the tide somewhat turns here for Casamayor. There's another left hand by Casamayor. He's scoring at will all of a sudden.
The best round so far for Joel Casamayor. Even though Corrales is making some things work, Casamayor is counter-punching better and throwing a bigger variety of punches, not just throwing the left hand.
Corrales' jab suddenly coming up short, or being blocked by Casamayor's gloves.
And he's throwing it with less conviction, Steve. And when you just paw with the jab, you get that, a counter punch by Casamayor.
All of a sudden, Corrales eating a lot of leather as we approach the final minute of round 9. Casamayor doesn't need to clown around, because he's behind, way behind.
I think he feels he hurt Corrales with one of those left hands, and I don't know, maybe he did.
And don't get careless like he did in the first fight after hurting Corrales. Good right-left combination by Casamayor.
Casamayor is getting the left hand in because Corrales is squaring himself up to him, dropping the right hand, and not countering with that right when the left is started out by Casamayor. He did all those things earlier in the match.
Corrales is pretty good when he squares up, but sometimes you can be off balance, and it can work against you.
Well, when you leave yourself, square up and leave yourself open to a straight left hand from a left-hander, you have a problem. And he did that there. This is the best round for Casamayor. The first one, I think he definitely won.
By far.
We gotta stop playing. We gotta win out all of these rounds.
Tiene que ganar todos los rounds ahora.
Don't stay in the front of
No
him.
te pares enfrente de él.
Stay low, back him up with the jab.
Mantente bajito es lo que camine para atrás con el
Shoot
jab.
the left hand to the chest.
Tira la recta tuya al
Okay?
pecho.
You hit
Okay?
him, fight back.
Joel Casamayor had his best moments in that last round. And you notice, stay low and then throw the left hand. Very good strategy by Buddy McGirt. And it was working in the last round. In Casamayor, you see, using his jab a little bit more effectively and then getting there with the straight left hand. And you see the heads coming dangerously close to clashing. Joel Casamayor knows what's going on with that head. Let's just put it that way.
His head is somewhat like a third fist, the way he operates. Casamayor doesn't have any knockdowns after round 9. As we enter round 10, he comes out flailing, but he probably needs one here, a knockdown that is. Joel Casamayor stepping up the aggression against Corrales.
Now, Diego Corrales has been 12 rounds only twice in his career. He has won all of those matches. Casamayor is 4-1 in 12-round fights. The one loss, of course, the very close loss to Acelino Freitas.
Corrales reluctantly touching Casamayor's gloves and then unleashes a right hand to the head of Casamayor. This should be a very interesting round.
It really is. It's a pivotal round in some ways. I have Corrales so far ahead, he can't lose on scores unless he gets knocked down a couple times. But that is not to suggest the judges have it that way.
Right.
So these final rounds, very important.
So from this vantage point, Casamayor needs some dramatic stuff from this point on.
I would think at least a knockdown at some point. But again, that's our scorecards. I've only given one round to Casamayor, the last one. Now look at how Corrales is not throwing the jab. There it is. Once he throws it with conviction, he makes it work. And remember, McGirt wants, oh,
Corrales down!
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How you feel, buddy?
A left hand by Joe Casamayor. And suddenly the momentum swings.
and a long time left in this round, almost half of it.
A minute 15. There's another left hand, Casamayor. Casamayor sensing something here.
Now, will Casamayor get so wild? See, look at right away, Corrales throws the hook, thinking the same thing will happen as happened in the first fight. Instead, he gets hit with a left.
Big left hand by Joe Casamayor again. And now the rough-house tactics as Casamayor throws an elbow. The forearm elbow move by Casamayor. Now he goes to the jab. What a round for Casamayor. 38 seconds left in the 10th. So Corrales down for the third time in 2 fights at the hands of Casamayor.
Now there's the right hand by Corrales. It followed a jab. He's now starting to use the jab a little bit more, but he needs to get through the end of this round.
Well, a clear 10-8 round for Joel Casamayor in round 10. And he steers Corrales down at the bell.
I know that. This good. Good. There you go. You know, you fell asleep and you walked right out in front of him. Okay? You got to keep the chin down, hands up. Do you understand? But you got out of trouble good, though. Give me a towel now. Okay, don't worry about that. Come here. Now listen to me, Diego. Listen to me. You got to really have a tight defense here. He's going to try to come in and throw everything he's got.
Here's where Casamayor landed a very good straight left hand. That was right on the point of the chin. Corrales was trying to throw a straight right hand, but instead of countering with the right, he was leading with, oh, his right hand was low. I take that back. He was getting ready to throw the right. His right hand was very low. That was almost a replay of one of the knockdowns in the first fight where his right hand was so low.
We enter the championship rounds, round 11. Casamayor late in getting his mouthpiece in. Here we go. Diego Corrales down for the first time of the fight in the 10th round on a straight left hand that he walked right into. Backhand by Casamayor. Getting away with it.
Now, I mentioned earlier that at least one knockdown would be required for Casamayor. That was a 2-point round. Still on my scorecard, I have a 5-point edge for Corrales. That may be a lot closer on some of the scorecards of the judges, but we have 2 more rounds here in which Casamayor could get more knockdowns. And, of course, there's the possibility of the knockout because he's hurt Corrales.
Joe Goossen told Corrales, I need you to win this round.
Now, there's some body work by Corrales. He has not done that in, 5-6 rounds.
Yeah, he has gotten away from the success he was enjoying in the first half of the fight.
And here's where Corrales, by moving to his right as much as he's doing, is putting himself in harm's way to be hit by another left hand by Casamayor.
This is somewhat reminiscent of the Casamayor Freitas fight, where Casamayor came on and they later round. Big right hand by Corrales. That gets the folks standing here at Foxwood.
He hurt Casamayor with that.
All of a sudden, Casamayor crawls into his shell. But Casamayor showing what kind of a chin he has.
He's a very, very tough fighter on all levels, and the chin is part of it. There's the counter right by Corrales, but he gets hit with another left. See, the counter right by Corrales has been dormant for the last several rounds. Very close round here.
Corrales now looking to end matters on one punch. 50 seconds remaining in round 11.
Corrales is making a serious technical error by constantly moving to his right now, very slowly and not throwing the jab. He's asking for a left hand to be landed by Casamayor. He's just begging for it.
And a wild swing and a miss on a left hook attempt by Corrales. Countering shot, look out now. Corrales feeling around for blood on his forehead from a possible clash of heads, and in the meantime, almost really got into trouble.
I didn't see where the heads came together in that instance. I thought that might have come from a punch. Good combination by Corrales. A very close round.
Now I believe there's some blood on the forehead of Diego Corrales. Yep, around the right eye as he goes back to the corner for the bell. This should be a most intriguing 12th coming up.
Flash of heads, Joe.
I tell you, Elon, take that. Watch out. There's nothing. I got it. Believe you me. Don't worry. Don't move. I'm gonna put some pressure on it first. Now look, you heard him that round. You understand me? Hold on. We good. You heard him good. Now look, it's the last round here. It's the last round.
Hey, panic.
Okay. Now I need it as your bet. Okay.
Diego Corrales had some excellent moments early in this round, landing the good straight right hand. That one stunned Joel Casamayor, and he was able to go after him knowing that he was hurt. But again, the clash of heads became an issue. It's hard to see. Oh, there it is. Oh, my, right on the eye. And that hurt Corrales, and because Steve Smoker didn't see it right away, he couldn't step in.
Here we go, 12th and final round. And they touch gloves. And this should be some finish.
I would think Casamayor believes he's got to either have a knockdown or win dramatically in this round. I scored the last round even. I have Corrales still ahead by 5 points.
So by your estimation, Casamayor really needs something dramatic here.
Now, Corrales is not throwing the jab. He is moving back but not doing anything. That's an invitation to disaster.
Right hand by Casamayor, but blocked nicely by Corrales. Now Casamayor going to the body. Time running out for the Cuban.
This fight shows us how stereotypes can get us in trouble. We think of Casamayor as just a slick boxer, but we've seen in a number of fights, the Freitas fight, the last Corrales fight, in this one, he has power.
Can he do to Corrales what he did in the 10th? Put him down. Left hand scores by Casamayor.
Just missing the counter hook was Corrales.
Corrales missing, but Casamayor didn't.
You know, if I'm Diego Corrales now, I don't throw that left hook very much. It's opening him up to the counter left hand too much, and he's throwing it too wide. He's not throwing it in a compact manner, and it's asking for trouble. I would jab, 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 throw straight right hands, and try and move to my left.
By your scorecard, all Corrales has to do is stay away for the final minute 20, and he's got it by decision.
That's what I believe. But again, the judges may have it differently, but I thought he dominated most of all of the first 7 or 8 rounds.
Now wiping the blood out of his eyes. It's coming down into his right eye, Corrales.
Casamayor is not that active in this round. You know, he's landed a few punches, but he has not been really active to try and take this round.
You never know what's going on in these guys' minds. He may feel he's ahead.
He could very well. I think he's in the hunt here.
Under a minute, round 12.
Can you say trilogy?
trilogy in any language could be the case.
Very close 12th round. I don't know if that's enough for Casamayor. We'll find out.
We approach the final 30 seconds of the final round. Casamayor certainly doesn't look as if he needs a knockout to win the fight. Then he walks into a jab by Corrales. We come up on 10 seconds to the final bell. And that is it.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a split decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Steve Weisfeld, scores about 114 to 113 in favor of Joel Casamayor. Judge at ringside, Julie Letterman, scores about 115 to 112 in favor of Diego Corrales. Judge at ringside, Don O'Neill, sees about 115 to 112 in favor of the winner. He is now the IBA and the WBO Junior Lightweight World Champion, Diego Chico Corrales.
We are set for post-fight reaction, so let's go to Jim Gray standing by in the ring. Jim?
All right, Steve, thank you very much. A lot of sportsmanship going on here now. First, let's start with you, Joel. Luis de Cuba will translate for us. Did you feel as though you had won this fight?
¿Tú pensabas que tú habías ganado la pelea, Casita?
No, yo pensé, hice mi trabajo, hice lo que sea en la esquina y gané la pelea, yo gané la pelea.
He says, you know, he did his job. He thought he won the fight, you know.
When you knocked him down in the 10th round, did you feel as though you were ahead, or did you feel as though you had to put him away?
En el 10th round, ¿tú pensabas que tú estabas adelante cuando tú bates?
Yo desde que empecé el primer round yo sé que está adelante, pero bueno, así la decisión.
He says, you know, ever from the first round on, he thought he was just dictating the fight. He was boxing him and keeping the control of the fight.
Like to fight him again for a third time?
¿Tú quisieras pelear con él la tercera vez?
Yeah, más.
Claro.
Chame the money.
Another time.
Diego, congratulations to you. What changed this time around?
You saw we had excellent head movement. We used our jab a lot, moved in behind our jab, used our head movement, stayed off center, and for the most part didn't lose any focus at any time in the fight.
Did you lose some focus? Did you start to run out of gas?
No, I didn't run out of gas. I'm going to tell you what, though. I mean, I had a little lapse in there and got clipped. And again, you know, Casamayor is an old vet, and you can't lose any focus at any point in time. Another left hand, never saw him come off of it, never saw it come in, and next thing I know, I'm like, oh, no.
Then you get the headbutt in the 11th. You went down in the 10th. Are you starting to think in your head, uh-oh, here we go again, panic time?
No, actually, there was no panic. Stay on my stick. I'm too disciplined for that. Stay on my stick, keep my head movement, and then for the 12th round, I just knew, you know what? No need to let this gash get any bigger, not give me any reason to stop the fight. Let me get out of range, and I have it. I felt I had it won, and let's just keep it that way.
When I ask you both, how much was Joe Goossen a plus for you, and how much did you miss him? First to you, Diego.
Joe Goossen was a big plus. I mean, he really did nurture the game plan that we had. He just nurtured the game plan, and that's a rarity in the sport. You know, you have trainers and you have coaches, and I have to give Joe a lot of respect, because he's definitely a coach, and he coaches his game plans. He nurtures his game plans very, very much so.
Did you miss Joe Goossen?
¿Tú extrañaste a Joe Goossen en esta pelea?
No, ¿por qué?
What for? What for?
Did he know your game plan, and was he able to put Diego in position to counter and know your every move?
¿Te conocía tu trabajo?
No, él no sabe porque él no sabe lo que hacer conmigo. Él nunca me usó mi trabajo, nunca yo soy otra pelea.
He says, listen, I've been by myself, you know, the whole time. I'm you know, it's you know, he didn't have no effect on anything. You know what I'm saying?
Third time, will you do it again?
That's my management. Of course, you know how I am, and I'm always eager and willing. But it's my manager and
he gave you an opportunity from last time. Would you be willing to do it again?
But he also told me no at first too. So, but actually, you know, I'm gonna let the managers do their talking and let them do what they do. My job is in here, and their job is to do that stuff. So,
do you feel as though, Diego, you're the best 130-pounder in the world?
I do believe that. Yes, I do. I believe today I showed that I have the expert boxing ability, that I could apply pressure behind a jab with good head movement. I believe I showed a lot of different things.
Congratulations to you both. It was a wonderful match to watch, and it was a great fight, and let's hope you guys do it again.
Hey, thank you, Showtime, for bringing me back again.
Okay, thank you.
Back to you, Steve.